Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Winning Mondays. If you have just joined us for the first time, we have a series that we are running right now. It's called The Path to Build a Business That Is Worth Owning. And we are in this series where we are exploring how we can design and build our business, not live a business life by default, but live a business life by design. And last week we had 5 episodes in this series, right? Last week we were thinking like a business owner. Today we're going to talk about creating your business plan. Next week we'll be talking about building a database. The week after that we're managing a budget, and after that, the last episode on 9th of May, we're building a brand to engage your customer. But I want to, before I start the session this morning, I want to just quickly go back and recap what we talked about last week, because I think last week Mariah did a very good job in having the interview with me and asking me those questions that kind of brought out a lot of points. But I wanted to start the conversation again to remind us about the key things about business and the definition about business, right? I'm going to quickly share my screen. Right. And I think the goal for us to understand the purpose of business and the opportunity, it's the opportunity for profit, right? The purpose of business is to deliver value and create customers. Now, it's very important as we think about our business. I just want to remind everyone, this is the key value or the key perspective that we must have as business owners here today. That the purpose of business is to deliver value and create customers. And the opportunity of a business is to take the revenue and manage it to a profit, right? And we talked a lot about that last week in how we should be thinking about our business. So last week's session is about how we think like a business owners. And I believe all business owners should think that way. All business owners should have that mindset in creating value and building customer base, which means building database, something that we will talk about next week. And at the same time, managing the business so that the revenue that we create can give us a profit after expense, right? So that's really the thinking mindset about the business owner. I wanted to share this to remind everyone the definition of business as we enter this conversation in the next few weeks, right? Let that sink into our mindset, because I think it's important for us to understand the concept of business. Now, how many of you missed the first episode last week? How many of you saw the episode? If you have watched the episode last week live or on YouTube, please press 1. If you have not saw it, please press 2. Please put in the chat box. If you have seen it last week, please press 1. Either you've seen it live or you saw it on YouTube. If you have not seen it yet, please press 2. Well, everybody saw. Okay. So likely someone have not seen this, who is not here today in this room, may not have seen the episode, right? I want to watch your support. If you can, please put that link to that particular episode into the chat box. And I want everyone here today, do a favor to your friend in your your partner or your colleague in real estate or your other friends that you're co-broking in real estate. Please do send them that link to that video. I believe that episode, it's a very big. I got a lot of reviews and a lot of people telling me that it helped them understand what that is all about. I want you to send the YouTube link, please. Send the YouTube link of that video that I did last week, Think Like a Business Owner, the first episode for Winning Mondays, so that everyone here today can send out this link to your friends, because I think it's a very good message to remind all of us in this industry to how we should think about our business and how should we think like a business owner. Okay, please send it out. Yes, guys, thank you, Marcus. So that's the YouTube link. If you can, send out to 5 people in your database today, any agents or even our own agents in our own company, send it to them so let them know that this is available to them. This is absolutely good stuff that I think will help you think about your business in a different way. So thank you so much for doing that, okay? Please send it out to your friends and you can just over WhatsApp, and then let them experience this understanding and share those thoughts with you, right? So that we can learn together and grow together as an industry, right? Okay, with me today, I have Lee Wing Foong, or we always call him Wing. Wing, are you on the call? Can someone please put him on next to me? Thank you, Wing. Hi. And Wing is one of those people that when I want to think about an idea, whether it's a crazy idea or conservative idea, I always send those ideas to him. I ask him what he thinks, because I can always trust him for being very honest and truthful, and brutally truthful sometimes, about the opinion that he gives me, because I need that feedback, right? So Wing is one of those people. He's actually smart. And we took him along to the US as well as we explore Keller Williams back in 2019. So good morning, Wing. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Right. Wing, can you just quickly share a little bit about yourself, just in case some of us don't know you yet in this episode, in this series here, right? Share a bit about yourself, your life, or your business. A little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
All right, good morning. So I'm Wing. So I'm 11 years in this industry. 2018, I got my estate agency license. So right now, I'm an associate director in MC2. I co-run a platform called Ace Platform. So like always, I always tell people, I started off in Redfield, zero, all the way doing what I'm doing right now is also in Redfield, right? So I'm born and grew up in Redfield.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, Wing. Tell us a bit about your business that you have run so far, and tell us what has happened in 2021 for you guys. Like what was the results, or what was like 2021 was a very challenging year. Everyone was locked down for 2-3 months, right? The scare of the pandemic becomes so real and changed government again and all this kind of stuff, right? But in the midst of all this turmoil or this uncertainty, tell us how was your business like?
Right. Okay. Well, I cannot disagree. 2021 was a very difficult year. All right. I also did reprioritize a little bit. Okay. But before going into that, so what we did was in 2021 we did 22 transaction GCI 580,000. All right. It's not a very good year. All right. But if you look at it, it's not that we are not doing anything. When you look at in terms of booking, we actually have 56 transaction GCI at 1.6 million. All right. So we had a conversion issue second half of the year. All right. That is not something that we can control. All right. And also looking at our team. All right. Who majority has family with kids and elderly. So which is why I did change priority a little bit. Whereby we slowed down a little bit in 2021. That is another reason is because also our sales pipeline was quite strong from the previous 2 years. So that is why I changed a little bit of priority. But having said that, we are back to full strength this year.
Right. So how big is the team right now? Let's give you a perspective. In 2021, how big was it? How many people was in the team?
7.
Right.
7.
And 7 people did 22 transactions, 580,000 GCI. This is converted transactions, right? Converted, right? And you say it was a bad year. What was a good year? How was a good year look like?
A good year we can do 2M.
And when was that? In 2020 or 2019? Was that the year that you did 2 million?
2018 we did more than 2 million.
2018 you did more than 2 million. How many transactions did you guys do?
100 over, I cannot remember. 100 over.
Right. So 2021 was the slowest year for you because of the impact that you did, but you still managed to did 580,000 GCI, which is fairly reasonable and fairly commendable. What changed during that time? You said about, I planned. What was your initial plan? Were you trying to hit like 1 million or 2 million? Is that the goal? Is that what you did? And what changed and why did you change?
The goal has been always 2 million, right? And what changed was the number of cases actually shoot up quite high. And like I mentioned previously, because the team has small kids and elderly at home. So looking into the situation, the risk is a bit high, right? So and I also didn't want the team to take too much risk. So which is why I told them for those who have a pipeline of sales, I told them, you decide for yourself, all right? You evaluate your risk yourself and decide what to do, all right? However, we also have got a rookie that has got a breakthrough year last year, all right? So yeah, so and I personally also I got a newborn, so which is why priority changed a little bit last year, but that is taking into consideration we have got a pipeline. Okay.
Right. can you explain to us what do you mean we got a pipeline? Is it because you have transaction that was done in 2020 that the money is coming in this? Because I know you are very famous for saying this. I'm now working for the income for next year because this year's income is already done, right? Whatever you've done last year is paying for mine this year. Can you just share a little bit about what do you mean by that?
Right. So because of the nature of our business in project marketing, so some don't like how we get paid, but I kind of like it because it is more predictable. So what happened is we work in 2018, we get paid in 2019. We work in 2019, we get paid in 2020. We work in 2020, we get paid in 2021. So 2018, 19, 2020, you know, it's a very good year for us, right? It's a very good year for us. So when 2021 comes, so we still have incoming money. So which is why there's nobody, I mean, we are in a very good position.
Right. And because the way you structure your business is that you think that way, right? You think about creating the pipeline of sales and the income stream that is continuous for year after year. So it's kind of interlinked, right? And you because of that, you all can take a breather in 2021 and not really been very affected greatly because of that. Is that fair to say?
Right. It's not that we want to we want to take a break or lazy. It's just that evaluating the situation and we prioritize family. So I think that is the best thing that we need to do at that particular time.
Right.
I'm not saying the market is not good. The market is there, right?
Right.
It's just our personal preference.
Right. And then you say that you are back, you guys are back right now in 2022. Tell us a little bit about how has 2022 been for you thus far as we pass the first quarter.
All right. Early last month, someone in MC2 asked me, we just took on a new project, asked me that what is the target for the month, right? I told her 20, but we end up last month with 49 units. So it's a good month for us.
So
far it's good.
49 units in 1 month. Is this converted or just bookings?
So far it's booking. It's still undergoing the loan process.
Right.
But since it is more than double the target, I'm very comfortable. The 20 is not an issue.
Right. So the goal is a 20 converted transaction per month. Is that the goal?
For that project, because we have got GCI that I break it down monthly. So for that project, it's 20.
Right. Thank you so much. So it's interesting to see that you're very clear about your business, what you want to achieve, but at the same time, the way you prioritize and what Mariah is putting on the chat box is the family and the business. These are all very important because that's how you live your life. Now, I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit about some philosophy thinking. What's your understanding about business worth owning in the world of real estate? Like, what does it mean to you when you hear the word, like our vision is to have a business worth owning? What does that mean to you?
First thing first, I always think that real estate is a very boring industry. All right. but having said that, you know, so we got to enjoy what we are doing, and yet it is able to provide what we need. So to me, that is a business which is worth owning.
Right. Something that you can enjoy doing and something that can provide what you need, means to fund our life, fund our family, fund the things that we want to do, whatever that is, maybe when everyone is different in that sense. Why do you think it's important for agents to build this kind of businesses, to think like that we must have a business worth owning? Why do you think that's important for agents?
I also always say this, especially to the newer rents. This is not a get rich scheme. This is not a scheme cepat kaya, whereby you come in not knowing anything and then you want to make some money and then get out of it. Sad to say, this is not the industry for it, right? So this industry, it is hard at the very beginning, but once you have built the right foundation, the skill and the knowledge, then after that it will be easier. So which is why this business needs to be sustainable. It needs to be long term to really enjoy the benefit.
Right. And you're so right, because a lot of people come into this industry with the thinking, oh, it's going to help me achieve my dreams if I just do that one thing and everything else will be okay. If we just motivate ourselves, we'll be able to do it, but they don't think deeper beyond that, right? What are the first steps? What do you think are the steps that we need to take in order for us to start the building blocks of building a business worth owning? Like, what are the initial steps that you advise? And you make it very clear in the early stage, it's going to be tough. Now, tough and difficult may vary for different people. Some people may be not as tough, some people be very tough, right? It's all different depending on where we come from, the walk of all. Because this industry, the other interesting thing is people from all walks of life comes in, right? From various industry background, they come in. So all of them brings different different things into the business, and some of them may have a little bit of a head start, some of them may not. But having said that, what are the important things that is required in order to build this business?
First, you need to have a dream, and then you need to have a plan how to achieve that dream. I think this is the first thing that everyone needs to have.
Right. Do you mind sharing what was your dream when you started real estate? Like, what was it that you wanted to achieve out of laying this foundation? What was your dream personally?
Okay, don't laugh. I started this industry as age 28, if I never remember wrongly. My dream back then was to retire by the age of 40. But now 39, looks like I cannot even retire even 20 years down the road, because there's no retire in real estate.
there's no business model that allows that person to retire. You can do lesser, but you just can't retire from the business, correct?
Retired, to me, my definition of retiring has changed, right? Retiring is no longer mean like, I don't do anything, right? Retiring is more like, I still do what I like to do, which I can don't do, right? So I got the option, right?
Right. Cool. And when you say that they need to have a dream and they need to have a plan, tell us a little bit about the steps about planning, because today we're going to talk a bit about planning, right? How important it is. And I know that you are definitely a person that plans very, very thorough. I guess because you were in the engineering background before as well, right? And planning is very critical in the way you lay out. Tell us, how is the best way for us to plan in terms of thinking about our business?
Okay. Now there are many types of plan. All right. It can be very complicated plan. It can be a very simple plan. All right. So I don't want to fear everyone here about planning. Okay. Like I say, it can be as complicated as a beautiful Excel, a lot of formulas. It could be as simple as just a piece of paper you plan for one day. Right. There's no right or wrong. All right. But if you look at planning, I think the first three elements are three things that needs to have. Okay, one is initially I talk about the dream, so you need to know what you want to achieve, right? And then you need to know very well why you need to achieve that. Okay, you need to know the what, you need to know the why, then only you look at the how. All right. So to me, this is three important elements when it comes to planning.
Right. And let's focus a bit on the how a little bit, because I think that's where most agents are all in the same journey. We are all looking for the how. How does the how look like for you?
Okay, I believe the how for most of the real estate people, especially when you're carrying out the real estate activity, the first two, everybody is almost identical. I think the first one is how many sales that you need to have, how many viewing you need to have, and number two is how to produce the number of viewings to generate the sales. All right, these two, I believe almost everybody is identical. But because I run a platform, so the third one for me is a little bit different. Is I look at how to do recruitment for the team, training, and also retention. So the third one could be a little bit different, but the first two I believe is almost identical.
Right. So let me repackage that language a little bit. The first one is basically lead generation. I need to know my formula. I'm sorry. I need to know my formula, how many sales that I need to achieve my goal, right? So I need to know my economic model, right? I need to understand, if I want to hit $1 million, how many transactions must I do? How many listings must I have? How many appointments must I go? What's my conversion rate? That's the whole economic model that we talk about. The second thing is, how do we lead generate to that economic model, the lead generation model? How do we lead generate that will produce the leads? And I don't know whether you I don't know whether you see this way I see it, but I have this observation that most agents should be thinking like this, but there are a lot of agents that don't think like this. Do you agree with me? Why do you think that's happening? Why do you think some agents they're not obsessed with the numbers? They are obsessed with other actions, activities that will bring them, hopefully it will bring them sales, and not knowing how many sales they must do, or not knowing how many leads they must have, but they are not obsessed with, they're on the other side. Why do you think there's this divide? Why do you think there are people in this side who are not obsessed with the numbers the way you think they are just now?
My opinion is they are missing the second element. You know, just now I talked about business worth owning. There is 3 elements. They are missing the second element. I'm not sure anybody, you know, still remember what I just talked about. What is the second element? Let me do a quick test. See, am I just talking to John or talking?
The why.
Yeah, correct. The why. So I noticed, because I ran quite a few of those GPS workshop previously as well. So and also I talked to a lot of agents, whether it's rookie or producing agents. I think the second element is very important. If you don't have a strong why behind your what, it's very hard to go far.
Yeah, it's very hard to go very purposeful and focus on the things that is boring, because what you just mentioned just now, right? And you are actually right. You are right to say that it is actually a boring industry if you look at it just from these 2 key elements, right? My numbers, my lead generation to appointment. The exciting part is the people that I meet, the conversation that I can have. But in reality, it's how many appointments are you getting this week, every single week, every single day. Like, maybe I test you right now. Since you tested, let me test you, right? Based on your current plan, what is the goal for your team to have appointments every week? How many appointments must they have in order to hit their goals, roughly?
Roughly, I tell a new brand last month when we were doing that project, a month target for 6 appointments, 2 booking.
1 month, 6 appointments, 2 bookings. Right. Why did you come up with that number?
If she's able to do that, then she will be able to cap.
Right. So the goal is to cap. And if you hit 6 appointments a month, so they cap in a month or they cap in like a whole year?
A year.
In a year. So they will cap if they maintain this momentum of this cadence of 6 appointments, 2 conversion, 6 appointments, 2 bookings. Eventually it will lead them to cap, because that's the formula. Right. And how is this helping that new agent to think about their business?
At least they have got something to shoot for. To be frank, last month, I think she doubled that. But at least, you know, they have got something to focus and to shoot for, rather than shooting everywhere. That was my whole intention.
Right. And so all you need to do is just to get that appointments, right? Whatever activities you're doing, it should help you get that 6 or 12 appointments.
Right. And also everybody thought that, you know, at the start of the year to end of the year is like a one step. It's actually not, because if you look at it as one step, then it's like, you know, it's hard to get it done. But if you break it down into 12 different steps and look at it one step at a time, it is a lot easier. It's actually not, like I say, 6 appointments, 2 booking in 1 month, right?
And you can cap in the business. That's not a bad business. That's something that is viable and doable. Yeah. What's the activity that will lead her to hit that 6 appointment?
Lead generate. Right. Well, of course, when you do project marketing, there's only 3 things you need to focus at. One is marketing. Second is call inquiry. Right. The third one is actually doing viewing. So the whole cycle is 7 for project. I mean, if you work in project marketing as a buyer agent, you focus at 3 to begin with. So it's easier for them to start and also make some money out of it before, you know, they complete the whole cycle.
Right. So basically, it's just to break into small steps and focus on the small activities. that is simple, but if you consistently do it, it will bring you the appointments and the results that you want. That's a great curiosity question by Joanne. He said, are you saying that hitting the numbers is equivalent to running a business?
If you want to run I mean, everybody run business, there could be different intention, but I run business is solely for profitability. All right. I'm an entrepreneur capitalist, so I look at profitability. So it's at the end of the day, I need to look at the numbers, right? So if
Right.
not, if we don't hit the numbers, no matter how much we love doing what we do, it's not going to be sustainable.
Right, right. And at the same time, you also put family first by doing that, because that's what you did last year. You took a step back because for the safety of your team members and your own family as well, right? You make that step back because of that as well, and yet you're still able to hit your business. So I think you answer the question is, if you hit the numbers, it's equal to running a business. Is the foundation of the business is the numerical relationships that you have every day. That's the foundation of the businesses. Anything on top of that is something that you choose and you decide what you want to do, right? Let's switch gears a little bit. Like, what do you think is the relationship between planning and success?
Predictability. I'm able to have a better control of my business, and also have a better overview of where we are. So it's easier for me to decide what we should be doing.
Right.
So I don't get worried because I got a clearer picture of where we are.
Can you give us an example of that? Because I think that's very important. I think a lot of people wake up in the morning not understanding and knowing where they are in their business, and they sometimes use a lot of emotions to make decisions about steps that they take for their business if it's not working right. So can you share an example of just what you just said just now?
Now, so which is why I say 2021, I did change priority a little bit. Now, before I do that, I actually has for Excel that tracks like where we are, right? How much commission is going to come in. So that data shows that we are quite comfortable at that particular time. So that enables us to change the priority for the second half of the year. All right. So I can look at it more objectively, and not creating too big of an impact moving on. So which is why early of this year, then we got to rechange priority again, and we got to restart our business, right? So, but having said that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have such complicated tracking or planning, because sometimes I realize one victim of planning is to wait for the complete plan. So yeah, I hope I don't confuse people here.
No, I think you are spot on that all of us look at planning very differently. And that's why we teach a class called GPS, because GPS is a very simple tool that your plan on your business is in one page, right? So you have not done a GPS plan, please go talk to your market center level to go and learn the GPS tool. Virtual support, if you can, please put the GPS tool, the file, the GPS tool on the chat box, just so that some of our guests or some of our agents who have not seen that tool are able to use that. It's a very simple tool to track and understand your business. Now, you talk about how you navigate through 2021 by knowing the income that is coming in that year. That helps you to decide, okay, I think we can change the way we prioritize our life and business, and let's do it this way. And how do you then use those to navigate back to 2022? Like, tell us about 2022 right now. What's the plan moving forward? How do you see yourself and the team planning in 2022 right now?
2022, we will be back full force. The target is 2 million. All right. So, which is why we just almost wrap up one project last month. So we are undertaking 2 new projects this month. So we are pushing forward.
Right. And so 3 projects will give you 2 million GCI. Is that what you're saying?
Not enough. Not enough. But so this year there is a lot of work that needs to be done, but we are not too worried. We will take it month after month, so we will be there.
Right. So the goal is to drive back the whole, and the whole team back to the 2 million mark, right? And when you, as you look at your plan right now, right, and you and the team looking at the plan right now, what are the important things that you're working on in the plan? Like in your plan, I'm sure there are priorities, right? And you mentioned just now that the two priorities and the third priority that you have. But what is the key thing that you're focusing on in your business for this year?
Sales, number one, and number two is also equipping the people in the team with the skill and knowledge. So this is the two important things that I believe these are the two things that I will be looking at only for this year.
Right. In your opinion, in this season, especially in this interesting season that we have right now, what do you think are the skills and the things that you need to equip your team?
The funny thing is this, like I also always say this, this industry is boring. Why? It's because what we need to do will never change. It have not changed and it will not change. What we need to do never change. All right. It's the real estate transaction never change. Just like for example, prospecting, you still look for owners. What you need to do is still the same. You do marketing is to lead generate for sellers and buyers. Never change. So what needs to be done never change, will not change. The only difference is how it's being done is always changing. All right. So we just need to keep updated with it and yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying that the activities is necessary. We need to do what it takes to generate leads, but the way you do it will change, right? Yeah, in time. So maybe I'm just trying to pick into your secret sauce right now, basically about lead generation, right? What in the area of lead generation, what do you think is the new approach that you are thinking about implementing in your team? What do you think will need to change? Because I don't think cold call really works anymore to a certain extent. I think you have to change the way we do it, right? What do you think is working right? It needs to change for it to work at a high level.
Now, first and foremost, what I want to say first is now I run a weekly mastermind. So in that mastermind, I did a survey. I asked the everybody what are the ways they are prospecting right now, which is still working. To be fair, I still get SMS, I still get flyers, I still get cold calling. So what I just want to say here is that everything is still working perfectly. So there's not one way that is not working. All right. So if it is not working, then you just need to see what is wrong, okay, or try to tweak a little bit. So but for me personally, what I'm doing right now, it's my focus is more on social media. So I look more into content, I look more into video. So that is what my focus is right now.
Right. So content, social media, educating the audience, building the audience in your social media presence, and then creating video contents to engage the consumer. So basically it's going and engaging consumer on the social media platform, which you have been starting to work on the past few years. Is a lot of the leads that you are generating coming from social media right
now? For myself, yes. For myself, yes. Because not everybody is able to get into this social media game. So which is why I do it, right? So because it requires a little bit more technical things and it involves a little bit more money. So which is why we do it.
Right. So it's a lot of calibration, a lot of understanding of how the social media platform engine works. What is the best message of the day, the week, or that season that will entice or engage the consumer, right? So that's all. There's a great question here by by Joanne talking about yo-yo. I'm sorry. Say most agents think that real estate is a yo-yo business because we're 100% commission based, and what you think is that business is about predictability and control, so that income can be consistent. That's what you think about your business, and most agent thinking is a yo-yo. How do we reconcile both? A very good question. How do we reconcile both?
It's a very good question. I believe I answered this question before. Sad to say, real estate is going to be yo-yo. sad to say lah, it's going to be yo-yo. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it's going to be yo-yo. So which is why I don't look at it week to week or month to month. I look at it in a year. So when I look at it in a year, I average it out, then it will be fine.
Right. So basically, you expand the space of time in the way you think about your business, and you're not bothered if this is a bad week, that's a bad 2 weeks, that's a bad month, because you know you still got 11 months more to go, and you work on that number from a 12-month cycle. And because of that planning, you had a 2021 as a year that you can say this is the way we want to take our business differently compared to last 2 years, because you're looking at a broader perspective. You're looking at a broader perspective. I think the challenge most agents sometimes have is because a lot of us may be trapped or may be challenged in the area of financing our life. And that's where the anxiety comes, right? That's where, to me, it's a separate issue. It's not a business issue, that's a personal issue. I think most agents, including myself previously before, is we get trapped into this realm where we don't know. Actually, we spend too much of our money. When there's no money, we can't balance. So, do you agree that that's part of the way we run our business, our life in terms of finances? We also actually yo-yo in our finance as well. That's why when you have a yo-yo finance and a yo-yo business, it's a very yo-yo world out there. Do you agree that personal finance is a very important component of getting ourselves positioned in the right position as a business owner?
Right. Whether as a business owner or entrepreneur, what you want to call yourself, I think managing your fund is very important. You got to manage it well, like what Maria said, cash flow, right? So that you won't be stressed when your funds are running out. So you need to be prepared for that. Now, it's not just real estate. No matter what you do, whether it's insurance or you open F&B or whatever it is, it all boils down to cash flow.
Right. And the planning of cash flow is very critical because it helps us to have a better state of mind, gives us that stronger emotional state of mind so that we know where we are, even though it's a bad week that week, because we know we can cross through the next 3 months, right? We know we can cross through the next 6 months, even though it keeps being bad this way, right? So the way we plan our finances is a reflection of how we should plan our business as well. That's a very good point. I think that's a very, very good question by Joanne. And the way we reconcile both, I think, is the way we plan our life in terms of time and money. I think that's the greatest challenge that all of us have, is how do we plan our time and money well so that it gives us that peace of mind to plan our business well.
Maybe to elaborate a little bit, the Joanne question, actually, you got to enjoy that yo-yo in the sense that our industry is not static. Our planning is not static, right? How I like it, it is dynamic, which means that if I got a good project, then I will work a lot harder. Or that month when, let's say, we don't have a good project, then we work slower. So it's up to us to control our pace. Similarly to sub-sale, if you got a very good listing that you want to get it sold, definitely you want to do more marketing, you want to do more viewing. But what if, next week, then you can compensate back your family, spend more time with them. So which is why I kind of enjoy this yo-yo in this industry. I know it causes a lot of heart attack to people, but you got to enjoy the dynamic of this industry.
Right. It's interesting. The way you put it that way, I think, is where a lot of people experience that, where I have a good moment, I capture that moment and I just go all out. And when it's a time to rest, I have actually more time to rest than most people, because the way we are in our industry, we can choose to just stop for a while. And it's okay to stop for a while because we need to rest, right? We need to spend time with family. So that's the benefit of having this business, being in this business where most business can't have this opportunity, but this business can. Thank you for sharing that. And you are just living that life that you just shared with us last year, how you did that. I'm going to go on some examples that you might have observed in your team or other agents, right? In what way sometimes planning business go wrong? Like what have you seen where the agent's business, they plan, it went wrong, or even for yourself?
Now, normally, once you have a plan, it won't go too wrong. it won't go too wrong. But I noticed there is two victims of planning. The first victim is they don't plan, and the second victim is they are waiting for a complete plan. So when you fall under either of these category, end up you keep waiting and you don't carry out the implementation. You know, for a matter of fact, actually to me, I always believe planning is very easy. Planning is very easy. It's not difficult. The difficult part is implementing the plan. All right. So don't spend too much time planning. Okay.
Mm.
Because if you don't implement, no matter how great your plan is, it won't bring you to where you want to go.
Can you give us an example in your business journey where you planned very simply and you implemented it? What does that look like?
So yeah, I can even say, John mentioned about GPS. I can put it on record. My GPS is not complete. All right. Two of my priorities, five doesn't have five strategy. Okay, but I still get things running, all right. So to me, the most complicated that it can get is just GPS. All right, or it could be as okay. GPS could be like 1 year planning. If you cannot plan for 1 year, then you plan for 1 month. You cannot plan for 1 month, you plan for 1 week. You cannot plan for 1 week, then you plan for 1 day, no? Right? 1 day planning could be as simple as the night before you go to bed. You just tell yourself, okay, tomorrow, 10 to 12 what I want to do, 2 to 4 what I want to do. All right. So start daily planning and then slowly grow. I think this is the best approach.
Right. And how about implementation? Because execution is probably weaknesses for many people, including myself. All of us procrastinate. All of us struggle with executing. Share with us when you get that plan ready, when it's a simple plan, it's very clear. What are the ways that you ensure yourself that you execute on what you plan?
This is very difficult. This is very tough. Furthermore, when everybody is working from home, and furthermore, right now we are all entrepreneur. I mean, nobody is going to bug you on what you should be doing. I am also a victim of discipline. I had this conversation with three producers. They have very high standard for themselves. They too admit that at times they are victims of discipline. So working from home, really it could backfire. It could backfire for a lot of people. But for myself, it's because I run a platform. All right. If I work as an individual agent, to be frank, I can be very comfortable. But because right now I got people, that I need to provide to, so they are the one who continue, to provide the motivation and the push, for us to continue moving. As an individual, sometimes you'll get tired and you will stop and whatsoever because we are in a team. So which is why that push one another moving forward.
So it sounds like accountability drives you to implement. It sounds like setting a plan to execute, meaning you make sure that people hold you accountable, that you're answerable to these people to do your part to execute. For example, can you share with us one of the most important tasks that you are accountable to the team? Like for you personally, what is that thing that you do daily or weekly or monthly that is accountable to the team, that the team is looking to you for that implementation? What would that be? Just give us an example.
See, because I run a project, all right. So now whether the project is doing good or doing not good, I will have issue. So my main responsibility is to ensure that things are moving. So whenever there is a roadblock or when things are not moving, then I've got to go in there and push things through, right? So that is what I do every day.
Right. So they come to you to solve problems. You are the problem solution problem. You're making sure that everything is clear so that they can execute their business. For example, I could be wrong, but just correct me if I'm wrong. It could be a customer is having loan issue. I come to you. Like if I can say the developer is having an issue, not releasing the unit to you, I come to you. Right. So you are always ready to execute that things because those are very clearly your role.
Right.
You're very clear your role. That's your role. And everyone is very clear that there's an expectation for you to respond at a certain standard and a certain time. Is that fair to say?
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of clarity here. I think one of the things about planning, it brings clarity to our roles, to our the way we spend our time, the execution things that we need to do, and also what are the important things that is supposed to be our responsibility, we do it, and what is not important, we shouldn't be doing it. What are some examples of things that that I don't know whether you experienced this before or any of your team members experienced before, where they do something they were not supposed to do, and like they did something that was not part of the plan? Like, what were some of those experiences? Can you share with us?
It happened all the time. To be frank, it happened all the time. Not everybody like the way how I do it. Okay, I know I cannot make everybody happy. But to be very, I mean, like what Miss Lee put here, be role model for the team. You know, our team knows. You know, Saturday and Sunday we most of the time is always on the ground with the agent, right? Most of the time. So you know, I get very frustrated when rent turn up later than the client.
Right.
Right. Simple things like this, but it still do happen almost every week. Yeah, this is, I mean, this is some very basic responsibility of a rent that to me it should not happen. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can sense that really kind of irritates the people and you as well, because they're not following a certain standard, right? A certain basic standard that I think that you should show up on time, right? And this is where you as a leader, you have to tell them that, you have to educate them, you have to keep them in check, and they look to you for leadership in saying something and doing something about it. Thank you for sharing that. Right. Can you share some personal experiences that you have success when you saw a plan executed at a high level for a certain period of time? Let's say you share that you were doing 2 million for the past few years until 2021, roughly, right? Can you share some of those successes with us? How does that feel, and what is it that you are proud of in those moments?
To be frank, the plan didn't change that much, right? We started KW in 2019, all right? So I started GPS in 2019. So if you ask me my GPS in 2019, 2020, 2021, they are quite identical, all right? It didn't change too much, all right? So like I say, you know, I won't spend too much time into drawing up the plan. Most of the time is spent into actual implementation of the plan and also tracking the plan on a monthly basis. So so success or not, at the end of the day, to me, if we plan, even if we didn't hit our goal, we won't be too far away from it.
Right.
We won't be too far away from it. So so which is why to me it's not too so worried about it, and then just get things, execute the plan and enjoy the process.
Right. What was one example of like you executed and for that year, and then it was the best year for you? What was the best year for you so far, you and the team, if you can remember?
For myself, if you look at myself, I 2013 to 2015 was very good years for myself. 2018 to 2020 is a very good year for ACE platform. So and I also don't know why it always comes in threes, right? I work hard for 3 years, then I rest for 2 years, then I work hard another 3 years. Now rest 2 years is just kidding. I don't rest 2 years. Yeah, but that is how my business is.
Right. And it's because of having that simplicity of putting into a GPS, very simple plan. You know how much, you know your numbers, you definitely understand the numbers, you have the formula very clear. And you work on implementation to achieve the numbers.
Right.
Would that be safe to say that's the business plan?
Right. You know, I don't focus so much on the result, right? My most of the time my focus is on the activity. All right. So because I got a plan, so I only work on productive activity. So I don't focus on the result, because to me the result will happen eventually.
Right.
So there's no point to focus on the result. I just track it, but my focus is always on the activity.
Yeah, maybe I want to ask you a personal question right now. Like, what do you do to help yourself to think this way? like to have this mindset? What is it that, do you read certain things? Do you infuse yourself with certain herbs or whatever that you are thinking this way all the time, very consistently, right? Because when I don't know about everyone in this chat room, in this group here today, you are hearing Wing many times. He's very clear and it's not complicated. You don't see him doing multiple things at the same time. But what is it that helps you to maintain this state of mind? Because it's this whole world that we are in right now is very noisy, it's very loud. A lot of agents are behaving differently. They're having their being, a lot of things going on there with all the videos, all kind of stuff going on, right? But what helps you to stay focused and grounded? Because it sounds like you are very grounded and very clear. What is it that helps you to think and maintain this mindset?
Yeah, it's very important. I totally agree with you. All right. So which is why I mentioned earlier, you need to be very clear with what you want to achieve and why you need to achieve what you want to achieve. Right. I think with these two in your head, or you look at it every morning, it will help you to a certain extent to remove some of the noise and keep you focused.
Right. And when you get caught up in noises, how do you realign your focus in? I'm sure you have caught up before in your journey, right? How do you realign, or how you help others to realign back to their focus again?
There are times there's a lot of noise. Sometimes I do get distracted, but it won't distract me for too long, because if it's not going to be too long, then I will realize, I will look back at what is important. Or also secondly, you know, people around me, especially Vivian, then she will remind me, hey, we get distracted, that sort of things. She remind me what is important. So noise is always there. So I think what is most important is don't get distracted by it too long. Okay. And also because we have a plan, so we will come back. We will come back. Yeah.
So it sounds to me that your plan is clearly defined. At the same time, there are people around you that is constantly watching, and you're watching for each other as well. And I'm assuming other people are going through the same thing. You're going to say the same thing as well, right? To them, because if they're going through distraction, they're going to say, hey, don't get distracted, right? So there is a benefit in being part of a team. There's a benefit of being in a community where you're part, we're all trying to think alike. I think that's the important part. When we're all in a community that try to think alike and try to be similar in the way we run our business, that helps us to stay in traction. Do you think that's a good, fair statement to say?
Right. You know, normally when I consult Ren, a lot of times they thought that they are not doing enough. But at the end of the consultation, basically I tell them to don't do so many, just focus on one or two things. End up, most of the time it will end up this way, right? So yeah.
You're absolutely right. And I had the same experience. I coach and consult agents, right? They're doing 100 things. But when you ask them, actually, what's your goal? Oh, I only want to make 100,000. And you realize that to make 100,000 is to sell 5 transactions, maybe, right? Then the question is, why you're doing so many things to just get 5 transactions? Why are you flooding your life with so many things, 8, 10 hours, 20 hours a day just to get 5 transactions to hit your goal, which is okay because that's what you want to hit. Actually, you can do a lot lesser. And that's where they realize, actually, if I just do 3 things instead of the 100 things, I have a higher chance of hitting my goal. Do you think that's, and I find that very prevalent in the agent's mindset. They need to do a lot of things in order to hit their goal because they don't have that clarity. Like, how do you help them see it? What are the things that you do to help them see it? And how do you advise them? What would you advise if I'm going through that right now, if I'm an agent right now in this call and I'm doing 1,001 things, I'm not achieving my goal, how would you advise me?
So normally I'll try to understand where their business at right now, all right, where the potential profit is at. So I will then, you know, get them to focus on what is the most important to help them achieve their GCI goal. So that is what I normally do.
Is there a common theme or a common thing that if they change that, it will help them achieve their goal? When you see all these agents, right, is there a common denominator that kind of say that if everyone do this right now, likely they will achieve their goal faster? What do you see that? What would the common theme be that you observe?
Right. So like the scenario that we just mentioned, those who want to do, like, I think up to you want to cap, for those agents who want to cap, normally this is what is going to happen. Right, for those who want to do up to 250,000, then it could be a little bit different. All right, but for those who just want to cap, right, normally it's always boils down to you just focus and do that two things. You'll be able to cap.
And what are the two things?
I will help them identify where what are the listings which is sellable. Get them focus into it, and then identify one or two activities that they need to continue to do to build their business so that it is more sustainable.
Right. Okay. I think there's a lot of wisdom there that you're focusing on these two things, and it's not about creating videos. It's not about creating a lot of stuff, because that are the one that may not help them achieve their goals right now, because their foundation is not solid yet. They don't know what listing can sell. So you go create a video of a listing that cannot sell. That's where you end up in the problem, because you don't know where your listings are, right? So that's a very simple way of looking at it. Thank you for sharing. How many of you are learning something from Wing today? How many of you are feeling that this is something that's very valuable to you? How many of you feel that the way that Wing is running his business, the way he prioritizes his business as well, even in the pandemic and post-pandemic right now? How many of you are learning something on that? If you are learning something, please put in the chat box right now. Very useful and realistic, definitely. Right? Very, yes, you're all learning something. So Wing, you did mention just now, right, that that you have a mastermind community, and if I'm an agent right now, I'm thinking about being part of a community or a team that you're working on. I want to explore what can I do? Is there anything you can share with us? Or any call to action that you have? Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can share a screen. All right. So run a little bit of advertisement. So basically, this is the two projects I'm doing right now. So it's one is Utamara at Damansara, just right behind Center Point. This is a low-rise condo or a townhouse. And then the second one is another townhouse at U15 Shah Alam. So if you want to do project marketing, or you want to learn how to do project, right? You can look for us, right? My phone number is there. All right. If you think you want to speak to a lady or a housewife that comes out and do real estate and yet able to achieve great result, one of the top producer in the group, you can speak to Vivian. All right. She can show you her experience. And if you think that English is not good for you, you want a Malay speaking, right? You can also speak to Rin. All right. She's a Malay speaking. Right, all these are all homegrown from Review, right? So they have achieved certain success. So you can speak to either of them, no issue. As for the real estate mastermind, is a weekly Friday 10 to 11. I'm opening to everybody. So basically, what I do is basically, look at result at market center 2 level, because that's only I can see. All right. Then I will ask them about what are their issues or problems that they are facing. Then if have, then I address. If don't have, then I'll focus into activity. All right. So if you see, the whole intention is make sure that they have the right things to do for the week, so that then their names will come out in that Google Sheet, whereby they are able to close certain deals. So far, it's not a big group. So far the result is pretty good.
Right. So basically, it's a weekly event, is it? The mastermind is a weekly event, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So how do we get on? Is it a Zoom or is it a physical event?
No, it's Zoom. I do Zoom.
Right. How do we get the link, and how do we register for this?
Can WhatsApp me. Can WhatsApp me.
Right. So contact me if you want to join that mastermind. If you are looking for some encouragement, you're looking for some opportunities or something that you are learning, or some issues that you have, join the mastermind where Wing is. He's very open to share with that 1 hour. And if you have followed through the whole episode today, you will know that he knows what he's talking about. He does what he talks, and he is very clear what needs to happen. Right, he's probably the voice of clarity and the voice of high execution in his business. Thank you so much. You can stop sharing screen now, right now. Thank you, Wing. Right. So before we go, before I ask you some last advice, can I have some announcements? As we come to the end of the hour, I want to have some announcements here, please. Can I have some announcements here? Right. You can see that we are doing this series. This is our second episode. If you have missed our first episode, please go back to our YouTube and watch that YouTube episode that we have about think like a business owner or create your business plan today. I think it will be added on to the YouTube channel 3 to 4 working days from today. If you've missed it, please watch it. If you want to re-watch it and re-understand it again, re-watch it again, or share it with your friend, because I think some of us need to build that relationship or build that what do you call that that community of thinking alike and behaving the similar way to hit our goal, right? And there's a link. If you are a guest here today, thank you for joining us. You can still sign up on that guest list that we have on the chat box to sign up for next week's session so that we can send you the link. We'll be focusing on how to build our database, which I think, to me, I don't know whether we agree with me, is the most important key fundamental element in our business, that the asset that we have in our business besides people is actually database. That database is the most important asset in our business, and how we're going to work on the database, right? So we're going to talk about that next week. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, if you have any success story, please share with us. We are looking for more success stories. We have a lot of success stories, but we want to get more success stories from you on the ground. Please share it with us so that we can inspire others and share it out and shout it out in all over, so that we can help other agents succeed as well through your success. So everyone succeeds together, right? So by doing this together, we are encouraging everyone, especially in a challenging season like this right now. Okay, next slide, please. Right, so we do have value stories that is going on right now to get your consumer or your clients or your friends to know a bit more about us. You will be noticing we are changing certain way of communicating these touch points, right? So please do focus on using those touch points to share with your clients or to share with your fellow colleagues or agents out there, so that you can build your growth share through this journey. I think a lot of agents today needs a lot of direction in this season that we are going through right now. So let us all become that voice for them, to help them see through how we should run our business in a systematically predictable way. So thank you very much for doing that together. Next slide, please. Right, okay, Wing, last thoughts. What are your last thoughts that you're supposed to share but you forgot to share with us? Like, what are the last advice that you have that I didn't ask you, or any other question I didn't ask you that I forgot to ask you? What would your last thoughts that you want to leave with all our agents here as we start the week off this week?
Well, this world is already very complicated, all right? So don't make life even more complicated for yourself, all right? So to me, it's always, keep it simple. Even you want to start planning, start with a simple plan, follow through and implement that plan, all right? And at the end of the day, what is very, very important is always believe in yourself, that you too can achieve your dream, all right? With that strong belief in yourself, I think it's important to carry through in this business.
Believe in yourself, make it things simple, don't wait for the perfect plan, start implementing, failing forward, and you will see, and you'll be very clear. As long as you know what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. Yeah. That's what I get from today's session, what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. You stick to that, put a simple plan, execute to the highest level in the small things that you do, you will see results. And that's how they've been doing 2 million a year as a small team. I mean, they don't have a 2,000 people or 100 people. It's just 5, 6, 7 people. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the number of people that you have, and able to achieve 2 million ringgit GCI pre-pandemic. So thank you so much, Wing. Thank you so much for sharing today. So if you want to keep in touch with Wing, I think he has a channel called Wing Lee Live, if I'm not mistaken, on Facebook. You can contact him, or you can reach out to him on Workplace. For the rest of you, I hope this has been very helpful and very motivating for you to kickstart your week here. We are into week, I think, 3 or week 2 of the month of April, which is the second quarter already. I hope this has helped you to kickstart the week. So I would like to see you all next week in our 3rd episode. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great week ahead, and we will see you next round. See you all. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.